The squat's one of the most important movement patterns, and so we're going to teach you how to take it from a rehab type of level all the way up to our most advanced progressions.
Right, so today what we're going to assume is that there's nothing structurally wrong with the squat. There's nothing like an impingement in the hip or something going on with the knee or foot. So all we're assuming today is that strength is the issue. So we're going to take you all the way down to the lowest level, to a negative body weight squat where you're actually assisted. So unless there's something going on structurally with the movement, then you should be okay with these progressions.
We start off with the assisted squat. Chris, you're going to assist me, but I'm also going to have some more assistance here.
Yeah, that's right. So again, assuming there's nothing structurally wrong with the movement and assuming that the only issue is strength and you need to get stronger, then for some of our rehab patients, a bodyweight squat is simply too heavy. It's not because there's something structurally wrong, it's because their body weight is too much. Maybe they're overweight, deconditioned, whatever. So what we need to do is make that body weight lighter, and the way we do that is giving you some assistance. So you can use any cable machine here, you can even use some bands. I've got the handle set up. I want you to set up so that you're tall and you're balanced on your feet, right? So I want to make sure that they're pushing through the entire foot, not just the heel, not just the toes, but the entire foot. And the arms here are just going to be straight. I don't want those bent a little bit because I don't want the arms to be working during this exercise. So arms straight. And then you're simply just going to sit onto the bench, touch, and then stand up by pushing your feet through the floor. Now here you can see that Craig was kind of leaning back, right? So go ahead and sit. But I want you to stand up as if I might cut this cord. Yeah, so if I was going to cut this cord right here, would you fall back as you were standing up, right? That's how you want to think of it, right? So we're sitting down, touch, stand all the way up, sit, stand all the way up, boom, just like that. All right, and then go ahead and let go. So we're assuming that our athlete understands how to squat, and if there's no pain there, then we found what that athlete can do without having any pain, right? Again, nothing structurally wrong, it's just a strength issue. So hopefully we get to the point where you can now just do a regular body weight. So let's go ahead and set up, all right? No more assistance, but same mechanics, pushing through the entire foot, reaching back with your hips, pushing through the entire foot to stand up, full hip extension at the top. All the way back, touch, up, one more time, back and touch, and up. Now, what I like to do is I like to already start to cue my clients and let them understand what the squat really is. And what I try to do is say, let's go ahead and set yourself up. What you want to imagine is the 3 points underneath the foot, but we've got suction cups underneath those 3 points. So we've got suction cups underneath the heel, the big toe, and the little toe. What I want to do is use those suction cups to pull the ground up into my chest. So you're standing up nice and tall. As you sit, you're going to pull the ground, pull your knees up into your armpits, pull the ground into your chest. Now from here, you're going to push the ground away, again through those 3 points. So you're pulling the ground towards you. That's going to help you go ahead and get into your depth, right? And then push the ground away, okay? That's a very important cue because I want the clients to understand that you're not just dropping into your squat, you're actually pulling those knees up into your armpits to achieve the depth that you want and then push the ground away.
For deconditioned clients, a lot of times that transition from eccentric to concentric is going to be really difficult. So don't be afraid to let them, especially, you probably don't want to use a bench necessarily for this. You want to do something that's a little longer, so like a plyometric box. But go ahead and, hey, go as far as you can and then crash. So say they can only get to here, they crash down, that's okay. And if they need a little help getting up, smash those feet up, create that extra force, get that concentric contraction, hamstring, glute, quad, to help them get off the ground in order to go transition from sit to stand into more of that tap and go sit to stand. And then we'll get into the bodyweight squat. Next step in the progression is a bodyweight squat, Chris. And before we load it up and before we even get into this bodyweight squat, there's a point we want to make about the squat.
Yeah, everybody's squat is going to look a little bit different. So before we start talking about squat depth and foot angle and knee angle and all that other stuff, just know that because of anatomical differences, everybody's squat is going to look a little bit different. So I can't necessarily tell you what a good squat is going to look like for you. I can tell you what a bad squat looks like, right? So yeah. Generally, we just want to make sure that people are squatting under control, that they're able to maintain good form, that they're maintaining alignment, that they're maintaining neutral spine.
Good firing patterns.
Good firing patterns. It's not about how deep you get, right? Because like a lot of that stuff was for scoring purposes anyway, right? Like if you were having a competition, then of course it had to level the playing field. Everybody has to have the same starting line and finishing line. So it was always down to parallel and then full extension at the top, right? Well, we're not in a competition. We're just trying to train the movement and get a little bit better.
Right.
So with that in mind, if you do want to learn a little bit more about what a good squatting pattern looks like and those anatomical differences, check out our guys over at DBC down in Miami.
Yep.
You know, Exos does a good job. Mike Boyle does a good job breaking that down. That's not the purpose of this video. We're just going to kind of go over the strength progression.
And we've talked about it on podcasts. Listen
right.
to our podcast, including the one where I went to DBC. I think it's episode number 76, maybe. But you can check out that one for sure. We talk about the squat depth from how DBC views it. All right, for right now, bodyweight squat.
Yeah, bodyweight squat. So let's go ahead and move this kettlebell out of the way. Get you to the middle of the platform so that we can see it. All right, so again, toes forward. It doesn't necessarily mean exactly forward. They can be pointed slightly out, okay? Wherever you would be in a nice athletic stance. And then you're gonna pretend like there's a chair behind you. Push your chest out through your shirt. And let's go ahead and hinge back. Pretend like you're sitting in that chair behind you. Pull those knees up into the chest. And then push the ground away. Again, one more time, all the way down. And then push the ground away. So here you can see that Craig is demonstrating good form. He's not necessarily getting to parallel, but again, that's okay. That's not something that is a goal of mine. I just want to see you execute the movement pattern. So once I know that you can do that, I'm going to go ahead and hand you this kettlebell, and we're going to proceed with a goblet squat. So after we can do a good bodyweight squat, we're doing the goblet. The goblet, we're going to hold this right underneath the chin, almost like you're choking yourself, right? And we're going to let that rest on the top of your chest. So there shouldn't be too much stress here on your arms. And then same squatting pattern, driving those hips back, pulling the knees up into your chest, and then down and away through the ground. And one of the things I like to do is we do so much with the mini bands in the beginning of our workouts. As you're squatting, pretend like that mini band is around your knees. So you're pushing those knees out, creating some room for our hips to descend down into that movement. Good, go ahead and relax, and then we can put that down. So bodyweight squat, goblet squats are next after we graduate from an assisted squat and a sit and stand.
Last progression, at least before we get super advanced, will be the barbell back squat. Now, neither of us are huge fans of the barbell back squat. I know I have my reasons, but people are here for you.
Yeah, I mean, for me, the barbell back squat is still a part of my program because I still want to train that strength quality. So there's a difference between training and developing the movement. In that case, I'm probably going to prefer the single leg version or the RFE if I'm training the movement. But if I'm trying to train the strength quality, then I do want as much force as you possibly can produce, and that's always going to be with two legs, right? Because even if you think about what bilateral deficit is, yes, we can get more of the legs targeted. Yes, it's more functional doing it unilaterally, but even if you say that the sum of the two parts independently is greater than both of them together, it's still not as much as it is together, right? So even if you take a 300-pound squat on the right side and a 300-pound squat on the left side, yes, that's more than 500 pounds if you put them together, but 300 is still not more than 500. So that's what I talk about when I'm talking about training the strength quality. I want the CNS to go there. I want that gut check moment for my athlete to say, crap, I better move this bar. You know what I mean? So when I'm training the movement, I'm going to prefer RFE, but if I'm training the neurology, the CNS demand of something really high, then I do want the barbell back squat.
Things to be wary of: shoulder mobility. You have to be able to get your hands in the right position on this bar, as I will be able to here in a second. I think I'll be able to handle this without any weight on it too. So thank God my CNS not going to have to go into overdrive. But the other thing too, core strength and stability, back strength, all those kinds of things come into play. That's typically why with a lot of clients, we're not going to get into this barbell back squat. But as you said, for those clients who we demand the most out of, they're going to hop on the bar.
Yeah, absolutely. So let's go ahead and get in. Again, we've already got this set up for Craig, so we know where the safety arms are supposed to go. We know where the J-hooks are going to go. Make sure you get that set up properly. It means a lot for your client to know that they're going to be in a safe position just in case they do have to bail. We'll go ahead and get underneath that bar, eyes forward, looking at yourself in the mirror. I don't ever say eyes up. I always just say eyes forward because I don't want them straightening their neck looking up towards the ceiling. And then we're going to push through the ground to get that off the rack and step back, just like that. All right. And then same mechanics. Sitting down, pulling those knees up into the chest, drive the feet through the ground, full extension at the top, just like that. Nice and slow coming down, pushing those knees out, and then up and out. Good. Last one. Push to the ground. Stand all the way up tall. We'll walk it all the way into the rack. Good. And then come back down, just like that. Right. So getting in and out of the rack is a really important skill that you got to learn. Make sure that you go over it with your clients, because you don't want to go over it when it's too late, when there's 300 pounds on the bar, 400 pounds on the bar, and they're moving it all over the place. So make sure you get a few reps of them walking all the way into the rack and dropping it onto the J hooks.
Know how to bail, know how to spot, very key as well.
So once the athlete is able to do some regular squats, something that is comfortable for them, a weight that's comfortable for somewhere between 10 to 15 reps, then I'm gonna move that up to an earthquake squat. So here's how I set that up. I'm just gonna take a regular band, I'm gonna fold that in half, right? So just like this, and then I'm gonna take that through the kettlebell. So right through here, I'm gonna take that through the kettlebell, wrap that around, and now I have these 4 little hooks, and I'm gonna take those 4 hooks, and I'm gonna put that on top of the bar, just like this, and we've already got the other side set up. So that's going to be my earthquake, and now I'm going to have Craig go ahead and step in. Same thing as our normal squat, but here we're really challenging the core, making sure that we're turning on that transverse abdominis and bracing that lower back all the way through the full range of motion. Good. Let's get one more. All the way up, and then we'll rack. So once the client is able to perform some earthquake squats, then I want to go ahead and put a lot more weight on there. Take the earthquake off, go back to a regular barbell back squat, and start thinking about sets between 3 and 5 reps.
That's the squat, from the most regressed assisted version to the most progressed unstable earthquake version. Chris, there's a lot of different things in there.
Yeah, there's obviously a lot more to the squat than what you're going to watch in this video, and we really highly encourage you to learn more about it. Listen to the podcast, watch some of these videos, come to the seminars. Definitely go check out our guys down in Miami at DBC, Mike Boyle up in Boston, the guys out in
in 7 cities around the nation.
So there's a lot to learn about the squat, but hopefully this just gives you some ideas of where you would take somebody from a very deconditioned state and they need an assisted squat all the way up to, you know, sets of 5x5 or 5x3.
And we often talk about the hinge is the most important movement pattern, gait is the most important movement pattern, walking, being able to pick things up. But really, you think about your day-to-day life, getting up and down out of a chair, out of a car, you're squatting all the time. Making sure your clients can proficiently use this movement pattern is going to make their everyday life way better. Subscribe on YouTube.